What is up, everybody? My name is Maddie, and you're listening to No Nerds Were Harmed. This is a podcast about movies, comics, games, and all things nerdy. I am here with my co-host, Tyler.
What's up?
We are also here with our producer, Sam.
Hello.
Tyler, let everybody know what we got in store for them today.
We are covering Tmnt, the 2007 animated turtle movie.
Yes, this is exciting because I think we wanted to cover this last April, but we were like, you know what, let's just go with the first film.
Yeah.
This is a gem.
It is. The animation's really good.
This is the thing. It's just solid. It's solid all around.
It is. We got nerd news for everybody. We're talking TMNT, got our replay watch, and we're going to let everybody know what's going on for the next episode. Our nerd news. First piece I have is pretty big news that's come out recently, and it's that Harry Potter, HBO Max is planning to do a series, and each season will be one book.
Yeah.
It seems like, oh man, that's a lot. When it comes down to it, it won't be a 2-hour movie that's jammed, or a giant book that's jammed into a 2-hour movie. We're going to get, I don't know how many episodes, 7 episodes, 10 episodes a season. Sounds pretty awesome.
You get the detail. You get a lot more detail of those stories.
Yeah, well, that's why people like books more than movie. Like, if you ever read a book and then read the movie's never as good because you can't get all the shit in it.
Mm-mm.
If they do it right, this could be really, really cool. If they don't nail the first season, this thing's it's never gonna get off the ground.
Sam, it's hard to not talk about these things in the household and save them for the episodes. But Sam, you were expressing to me what your biggest concern is for this show.
Yeah, it's the casting. Like, I feel so bad for those people that get cast for these roles because they have such shoes to fill. And then a lot of the cast from the movies has since passed on. There's quite a few characters that passed away, including Alan Rickman. So that's like an even bigger shoe to fill, other than, you know, your core three with Emma Watson and Daniel Radcliffe and everybody, and Rupert Grint. That, yeah, they better get some no names for casting.
Yeah, one of the big things that I was concerned about as well is, you know, Tyler, you're playing the Hogwarts Legacy game, right?
Yeah.
That's getting a lot of backlash just because people don't want to support J.K. Rowling.
This is the thing. Like you know, if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. But the truth is, yeah, it got a lot of backlash, but it's also like the highest selling game in the last 2 years. And it's an IP that's bulletproof that they don't, at the end of the day, it's not going to move the needle.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of we're boycotting this and all that, but at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. You know, that's a video game. This is a TV show. So it's not going to be something that's really going to come into play. Again, though, I think it's the first season. They have to kill the first season or else this thing's never going to come off the ground.
Which is going to be interesting because I imagine that for a lot of people, the first book isn't their favorite book. So,
correct. Again, that's the hard, tricky part. That's what's kind of scary about it. But they're not going to be able to buy. Yeah, people will keep watching, hoping it gets better. But your majority, if you don't hook them that first season, they're not coming back.
That's true.
It's scary, but if they do it right, it could be fucking awesome.
Yeah, we're stoked for this, and we'll keep people updated because this is some cool news.
Not a huge piece, but Joker 2, Folie à Deux, has wrapped filming.
Yeah, I heard that.
It feels like they must have been shooting this for so long and knew that shit was going to finally start leaking. So now they're starting to put shit out because it seemed like all the pictures of Lady Gaga were just coming out, which again, she probably just filmed at that time. But it felt like, okay, here's where all the leaks are coming. And now it's like, oh, they're done already. I'm ready for it. I'm excited.
Yeah, for keeping that secret all locked up as well as they did. Yeah, I agree.
Because when's that supposed to come out? Do we have a release date on that?
That's your job.
That's my job. Let's look. I didn't know if you guys knew off the top of your head, because sometimes...
Oh, yeah. October 4th, 2024.
Holy shit, 2024.
Yeah, October 2024. Whew.
That's why it's crazy it's wrapped too, but...
They got a year and a half to edit that film.
I mean, that could have changed, but...
No, because on my end, I'm getting 2024 as well.
There you go, yeah.
So some trailers that we wanted to talk about because they came out recently. It was kind of a heavy week for trailers. There's a few that we're not going to be talking about, but there's 4 big ones that we definitely want to talk about. I'm going to do them in order of release date. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This looks fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I've never doubted it. So I knew, like, I'm ready. I don't even really want to see more trailers. Like, I just give me the movie.
I want to see it. Yeah, I want to go see it.
I'm good. It's gonna be cool. We all know it's gonna be fucking cool.
The look of it looks amazing. It looks incredible as the first one did. The story looks really cool because it looks like it's going to be Miles going up against all the other Spider-Men because of something that he's not supposed to be doing or something that he feels right that he should be doing. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of conflict between these Spider-Men, and you're not going to know who to be rooting for, which will be interesting. But that comes out on June 2nd, and I believe that we are going to go see it at that new Imagine Batavia, that giant screen that I was talking about.
If it's finished in time.
Yes. The other trailer is for Barbie. I mean, it looks entertaining.
I think it'll be sleeper funny. I think they're holding a lot back in the trailer. Like, it's going to be very... I don't know what I was really expecting from it, but I also kind of got what I was expecting, and I'm happy. So, like, I thought it was a decent trailer.
Yeah.
I think the characters in it is going to be hilarious because it's just going to be a lot of, like, celebrities that you know kind of just playing all different versions of the same character. Like, there's a recipe there that can be very, very funny.
Yeah, we did show the girls the trailer of this as well, and I don't think this is going to be one that's going to be kid friendly because they had that whole "I'm going to beat you off." They were using the word beach, and I was like, it was funny, but I was like, I don't know if I want to explain this or the pun or the joke to this to the girls, so I don't think it's going to be kid friendly.
I'm sure we'll get another trailer too.
Yeah, because it did not come with a rating.
Yeah.
But that is coming out on July 21st. That'll be the same day as Oppenheimer. So it's going to be an interesting battle at the theaters that week. And then the last movie trailer we're going to talk about is for Blue Beetle. And this looks surprisingly good.
It looks good. I've said it from the beginning. Suit looks good. It's DC Spider-Man. That's where we're getting at, and especially in this trailer. I'm ready. I mean, I'm not like, oh my god, this is going to be crazy, but like, I don't know, but I think the effects and everything looks good, and Blue Beetle has potential to be pretty cool. I'm trying not to hype it up too much. I'm not a huge like Blue Beetle guy, so the bar's not so high either, you know? The trailer was cool. Like I said, there's some really cool, like, fucking when he, like, Gundam swords that fucking thing out. Dope as fuck.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, great actor playing him. We'll see, though, if it gets, like, really kitschy really fast. That's what's going to fuck me up on it.
Yeah, it seems that there's going to be a lot of it's a Hispanic family or Hispanic hero. It's going to have a lot of family elements, is what it looks like to it. And then it also seems like this character Jaime, he's in the suit and he's talking to it, so it kind of has a Venom element to it as well, where the suit's talking to him, and it's going to have some funny aspects where the suit's doing shit that he doesn't want to do, and so we'll see. Hopefully, it's not some recycled Marvel things like, you know, you said.
That's what I'm scared of.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Like, hopefully it's not that.
But look-wise, it does look pretty good. And that's set to come out on August 18th. The last trailer we're going to talk about is for a show. And this is for Ahsoka.
Yeah.
This is the new Disney Plus Star Wars show that's going to be coming out. And this is starring Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano. And I think that for me, I'm not too hyped on this movie, but I didn't watch Clone Wars and shit like that like you did. So what excites you the most about this then?
I think that's what's tough is like a lot of it is kind of inconsequential because of like where this shit is all taking place, because Mando and Ahsoka and all this shit is technically taking place before the new Star Wars. So, you know, so like it's tough to really get hyped on reasons other than just like loving fucking Ahsoka. The girl she talks to in the trailer, Sabine, she's from fucking Star Wars Rebels, and she's like the bounty hunter armor that's like all fucking painted up, custom paint jobs and shit.
Mm.
She's kind of a famous like cartoon character, so that was hype in the trailer. So there's a lot of like fan service from those eras that gets me excited, and Ahsoka's a fucking badass. So like like fights and lightsabers and all that. The Sith people that are chasing her look really cool. we'll probably get like an Anakin type crossover at some point
Ooh, so they might.
of flashbacks for like Clone Wars and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be a lot of fan service, which is I think gonna hurt the show because if you didn't watch all that, it's gonna be like what the fuck. But there's potential like to have an awesome little run. Now I hope it's only like one season though too. Like
Yeah.
we could just get another book of Boba Fett, which I didn't really care for. That's just like and that's it. That seems to be kind of what Disney's doing on these spin-off shows. But I'm excited just for being an Ahsoka fan. So that's purely fan service coming my way.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that they're focusing on a like a strong female character to put out their own, like you said, a side show or these spin-off series. So that's pretty cool, and it's something that I could be proud to show the girls. Like, hey, here's a chick Jedi that you guys probably didn't know about because we don't watch Rebels or Clone Wars. So this could be something that they can get into, and that is set to come out in August. There's no release date officially stamped, but August is when we could expect it on Disney Plus. Some releases, if you guys would like to get out your calendars. On the 14th, there's two things coming out. One of them is for Apple TV Plus, and it is Ghosted. It is the action film with Chris Evans, and I can't remember that chick's name. Ana de Armas or Armas,
Ana
whatever.
de Armas.
I don't know how to pronounce her name, but it looks funny. It's like a romantic comedy with action. And then Renfield also comes out on the 14th, and that'll be in theaters. And I know a lot of people are stoked for that. It's supposed to be a direct sequel to the 1931 Dracula film, which is interesting. So we'll see how that goes, because it'll be cool to see that, to think that that character has lasted this long and now he's in modern day and he's Nicolas Cage. It could be some funny elements to that. And then on the 21st, there's going to be two horror films that are coming out, so it'll be interesting to see what the box office has for that. The first one is Evil Dead Rise, and this is one that I know a lot of people are excited for. It's, they like the Evil Dead series, they like Sam Raimi, what he did with that series, so to see a sequel, which is maybe a prequel, I don't really understand where this fits in the timeline of the Evil Dead series.
Evil Dead, man. That's it, all it is.
But yeah, a lot of people are excited for that. And then the other horror film is Beau is Afraid. This is the new Ari Aster film. Ari Aster directed Hereditary, my scariest film ever. He also directed Midsommar. So he's behind some cool stuff. And as far as Joaquin Phoenix, the trailer for it we talked about looks super freaking weird.
It doesn't give me horror vibes, but we'll see what happens.
There's a new trailer released like 2 days ago, and when I watched it, I was like, ooh, I cringed at a spot because it kind of gave me chills. It was kind of creepy. Those both come out on the 21st of April, so look out for those. My last piece ties into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it is that the Cowabunga collection that Tyler had talked about earlier last year, that released in August, they added some online gameplay very recently, and it is for Turtles in Time, the NSES version, and then as well as the Manhattan Project, which I believe is TMNT 3, the Manhattan Project. You could play them online now with people. They haven't done cross-platform, I think is the term, but everything is able to be played online right now, and they also released some new bonus content, literally air quotes bonus content. They haven't said what it is, so if you have it, you can tell us what that is, because I don't play it. But yeah, there's some new bonus content for the TMNT Cowabunga collection. Check it out. We're going to get into our topic now. TMNT from 2007. I'm shocked by these numbers, guys. Rotten Tomato score is 35%.
That's tough.
What?
Audience score for this is 60%.
That's fair.
A little more doable, yeah. I mean, it's been out since 2007. I didn't check to see how many reviews were for the tomato meter, though.
Let me look.
Yeah, check that out, Sam. This is directed by Kevin Munro.
Only 120.
Oh, that's a lot.
120 reviews.
Wow. Okay, so those are pretty low numbers then.
But the audience score has 250,000 plus ratings, so...
That's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, this is directed by Kevin Munro. He does not have a big or a good catalog behind him. He directed the Ratchet and Clank animated film that came out quite a while ago, as well as Dylan Dog, Dead of Night, the one with Brendan Routh. Didn't see it. Can't assume that I had good things about it. This movie is essentially about a broken Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle group, and they have to come back together to stop an evil dude and his army of ancient monsters.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Not what we would expect from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because a lot of people typically associate that, hey, there's always fighting Shredder.
And this movie's cool because it's not like it's its own movie. It's not a continuation of anything, but it also isn't like an origin movie.
Yeah.
You get started in the timeline where all this shit has already happened, and if you kind of know about it, you know exactly. If not, they sum up a couple big things like about Shredder, and then you get into it, but the rest you kind of just discover organically. Like, if you don't know the journey of Casey and April, you won't really know that going in, but you figure out real quick, like, oh, Casey and April, these people date each other. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
I love how it's kind of not an origin movie, but it's also a couple years in where they kind of rely on you to have a little turtle knowledge to fill a lot of the bullshit that we don't need to spend time going over again for the millionth time.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%, because it's essentially the, we don't need to see Martha Wayne get shot in the alley or Uncle Ben get shot as well.
Correct.
We know the shit. But first impressions. Do you guys know when you guys saw this for the first time?
I think I for sure saw this in theaters. I know I loved it right away. I think it's the monsters in the thing. I think it was like that it was just fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like hunting different monsters. It was just like, this is perfect. This is exactly what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles should be.
I did see this in theaters, and I went and saw it with my buddy Dave, and we were like 2 minutes late, so we didn't get to see the opening segment where you see the monsters and everything that happens. So I was kind of lost. But no, you still appreciate so much about this film. We'll get them talking a lot of things about that. But yeah, I saw this in theaters and loved the shit out of it. What did you say, Sam? Did you see this in theaters or?
No, I did not see this in theaters. I honestly don't remember. I know I was older. I probably didn't see this movie till my early 20s.
Okay. So the cast in this. The cast is
stacked.
Kind of like this Mutant Mayhem movie where we don't know really who's playing the Turtles. They're not recognizable voices, but everyone around them, you know these voices. I'm going to go through some of them. So Casey Jones, Chris Evans, fucking Captain America, from Not Another Teen movie. Jake, he's there. I tried to pick the great movie, and then they're like a movie that they would laugh at if I told them, hey, I know you from this movie.
I bet he gets there more than you'd think.
Yeah, probably. He does a fine job. I like him as Casey Jones.
Oh, as Casey, he's really good. I like him as Casey a lot.
April O'Neil is voiced by Sarah Michelle Gellar. People know her from Buffy. She plays Velma in the Scooby-Doo live actions. And she's also from I Know What You Did Last Summer.
No, she's Daphne.
I was going to say, wait a minute, she's Daphne.
Oh, shit, she is Daphne. I'm a stupid asshole. I'm sorry, Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Dude, Freddie Prinze Jr. is going to come after your ass, dude.
I know, man. Freddie Prinze. Oh, man, he's great, too. Winters. This is the biggest name out of this movie. So Winters is played by Sir Patrick Stewart. And he is Professor Xavier. He plays Picard. He's also the narrator from the Ted movies.
Mm-hmm.
He's great in this movie, too. He plays a good villain.
Yeah, he's like the main bad guy, like the new bad guy.
This one surprised me. So the diner cook, who has maybe a line or two, is voiced by Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith is Silent Bob from the Clerks Dogma movies. He has the podcast Fat Man Beyond. And then the last big name is for the narrator. The narrator from the beginning of the movie is Lawrence Fishburne.
Fishburne, yep.
He is Morpheus from the Matrix films, in case you don't know. And he's also Cowboy Curtis from the Pee Wee Herman show.
Yes.
Cowboy Curtis. But yeah, so it's a stacked cast. We're going to get into talking about the movie now. So if you have not seen this movie, if you don't want to be spoiled, pause this, come back later after you watch the movie because we're going to spoil it.
Yep.
Like we had talked about, this movie, they do start 3,000 years ago in kind of this war, and
they're like Aztec warriors.
Yeah, it's like this dude, and he's got his crew with him it's this guy with 4 other crew members, and the stars align that happens every 3,000 years, and it gives eternal power to this one guy, but it turns the other ones into stone.
Yeah, they like were trying to take over the world essentially, and he went after the like power beacon, and in the process, it ended up like fucking all his generals up. So he
Yeah.
gained no power, but fucked everybody else up. And it just goes up, and you're like, okay, that's it. You know, it's cool, but you're like, I don't know what the fuck that has to do with the turtles, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. And it does release 13 monsters.
They get that. Oh yeah, and it releases the 13 monsters, but they get that shit out of the way. They're like, yo, we're gonna get this shit out of the way, so the turtles don't have to even explain this. It's just we're gonna get it out of the fucking way, and then we'll start with the turtle stuff. And I appreciate them for it.
Yeah, because it's only like a 3-minute scene.
Yeah,
it's real fast, and then it jumps right into like we had talked about that. You know, we don't need to see Martha Wayne die.
It's like a comic book picture when they talk about Shredder.
This is Lawrence Fishburne, right?
It's like they cover that shit just with a pig. They put up a little comic book picture of Shredder, and they were like, "Here's the Shredder thing." Boom, gone. It's like, okay,
yeah,
and we're done.
Yeah,
it's so fast, and it is good. They jump to like Central America, and we get an intro to Leonardo. Leonardo's in Central America. He's essentially, they call him like the ghost of the jungle, and he takes care of people there. He's a myth or a legend.
He's like Robin Hood.
Yeah, he is. But he's in the jungle and he's fucking training. And you're kind of, as a turtle fan, you're like, the fuck is he doing here?
Well, that, and at first you're thinking, oh, it's got to be Raphael, because that would make sense. And it's like, no, it's Leo.
Leo's there because he's training. Splinter sent him away.
Yeah, to be a better fucking leader. And April's there because she works for like an archaeology company, and like they are excavating things for this really, really rich dude. But she gets like, she hears about all these things of like Ghost of the Jungle and all this shit, and she's like, this sounds familiar. Because obviously, again, since they've jump cut all of this shit into the future, or not in the future, but not the beginning, it's like they know Leo, she knows these guys, she knows how it is. Obviously, Leo has left, so she hasn't seen him in a while. She was a reporter, so we know she's good at like finding things. You know, like, it's a lot of shit they don't explain in the movie, but if you know Turtles, it all makes perfect sense. And she's like, I've kind of been doing my job, but also tracking you at the same time, because I'm trying to figure out, like, what the fuck, man? Like, your brothers kind of need you. They're doing okay, but at the same time, like, you've been gone for a long fucking time, dude.
And it's cool that she finds him, because when she finds him, he doesn't run away. He actually confronts her, not confronts her, but he saves her from getting hurt. And then says like, oh, you know, you're a long way from New York or something like that. And they pick up right where they left off, and excited to see each other. But she tells him like, hey, you got to come back. You know, the crew kind of has fallen apart without you.
And she's telling them what they're kind of doing on their own. It's awesome. She's like,
oh, yes,
Donnie's doing customer service and he's on the helpline. So he's like, I don't care if you think it's this. He's like, it's not this type of phone line. Hangs up on the dude.
Yes, Donnie's doing IT.
Yeah, he's doing like IT stuff, and then she's Mikey got into the entertainment industry, and he's just literally a turtle. He's Carl Bunga Carl, and he just puts on a big mascot helmet of a turtle on his turtle body. Hilarious. Does little birthday party.
Goes to birthday parties and he just lets kids beat the shit out of him.
And then
so good.
Raph, she's like, Raph sleeps a lot. We don't hear much from him. And he's out being fucking Red Hood in the middle of the night. All pissed off in the world as the Night Watcher just skirting around town, dude. Hilarious. Yeah. It's a great intro to bring up what's going on with everybody. And then you kind of stick with Raph for a little bit to see, like, he's out literally being Batman. He's fucking mad on his own. They're not really doing turtle shit anymore. He's pissed off like usual. And he's just became this, like, metal suit turtle thing that's a badass.
Yeah. Like the beginning of this movie.
Yes.
It is so fast. Like, they just get this shit over with, which is good because this movie is like an hour and a half. It's not a long movie, so they get this shit done really fast. It's a kid's movie, but it's also entertaining for adults. They did a fantastic job at the pacing of it. April does leave him, and she's like, yeah, you know, it'd be nice to see you again. So they jump back to New York City. Then we get an intro to Casey. And it's because April pulls into town. She's at a dock and she calls him and she's like, where are you at? You're not here. And he's like, oh shit.
He's like the mover. She's like employed him as the mover of her like important shit. And you can tell very quickly like they're like a thing, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, because that we don't have to go through that whole like, oh, Casey flirting with April. They've got all of that shit out of the way. They're already together. Let's just keep it moving.
Yep. They bring these findings that April found in Central America to this dude named Winters. And Winters is this big business dude, and he's got a huge building, and just
He's like Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne combined.
that is a great fucking comparison. And he gets these artifacts, and he opens them, and it's a statue. It's a stone statue, and it's the people from the beginning of the movie. So now, as an audience member, you're watching, and you're like, oh, he's the dude who got the eternal life.
Yeah.
And these are his family, his people. Like, I don't know how the hell he lost them if he's been alive for 3,000 years, but he lost them, and now they got him back. But we do get an intro to another character next. After April and Casey leave Winter's office, Winter puts the Foot Clan into motion working for him, and it's by a woman named Karai. You're like, oh, Shredder's been gone. That's what Lawrence Fishburne said at the beginning of the movie. And Winters tells Karai, hey, I need you guys to find these monsters. We need to locate them. I just want you to keep your ear to the ground, locate them for me. Our next scenes is like Casey and Raph are hanging out. They're both doing vigilante stuff together.
That's a great scene. That's a fucking hilarious scene. Because like Casey keeps like April's trying to do just normal couple shit, and Casey's always like staring out the window, having the itch of like, I want to go crawl around the town. So he sneaks out, and Raph's doing Raph shit, beating the tons of dudes' ass like always in the big suit. And he sees Casey, and right away he's like, oh shit, it's Casey. And Casey's got a hockey mask on, which the hockey mask looks great on this like cartoon character design. Casey's looks awesome. And Raph's trying to be all like Night Watcher disguise. He thinks Casey has no idea, and Casey right away is like, he's like, I need a sidekick, Raph. And he's like, wait, how did you know I'm him? And he's like, dude, you look like a big metal turtle.
It is good. It's really funny. Yeah, so they do some vigilante stuff together.
Yeah, because they're both just like, again, Casey's always trying to just fight somebody. You can tell Raph is mad and wants to do vigilante shit, but he's also mad because like the squad's not rolling out handling business like they used to. So like he's got a boy to roll with now.
Yeah, he's upset that Leonardo's gone. He wants them all to be together. You get to see Raph angry, but not just angry to be that guy. He's angry because he wants his family together. He, not just for selfish reasons of wanting to go out and kick people's asses. He wants his brothers together because they belong together. And it's a side of Raph that we have seen in the past, but you get a little less of just an aggressive Raph for no reason. You get the aggressive Raph, but you know the reason why, which is nice. We do get to see Winters bring back the statue. His brotherhood is what they call him. He brings them back to life. Not sure how exactly he brings them back to life, but
they're still statues, but they like are mythical.
Yeah, they have voices. They're, like you said, stone statues, so they're fucking indestructible. Leo does come back, and everyone but Raph is stoked to see him, even though he wants to see him.
And that's a great scene because, of course, Splinter's up, everyone's sleeping, and Splinter has like a great conversation of like, you've been gone for a long fucking time. I sent you away, and you stayed like past a year. And Leo does the typical Boy Scout shit that he always does of like, I've still failed you. And Splinter's got to be like, no, dude, you did fine. But he hits him with the like, yo, you need to fucking go talk to Raph. He's never going to admit it because he's the tough guy, but like he's the one taking this the hardest. And it puts into perspective, like, one, Splinter's always the best dad of all time. He always knows what's going on with each one of his kids, like, to the fullest extent. Like, he takes Mr. Miyagi and then applies it on, like, ultra dad level. It's crazy. He's always knows what's going on. And Raph's, like, standing out the door hearing all this shit. And, like, I do love how much, like, Raph misses him. But now that he's back, Raph's like, fuck you. You know what I mean? It's like he's back and like, you can tell he's happy, but at the same time, Raph's like, now I'm going to fucking make your life hell. They have such a good brother dynamic, and Leo is tired of Raph shit. That's the good thing about this too. This isn't the typical like Raph, Leo kind of bullshit. This is like Raph and Leo are grown in a sense, quotation marks, but Leo's just as much tired of Raph's shit as Raph is of Leo. It's just ultimate dynamics.
Yeah, it's real nice conversation that they have. Not real nice, but it's a good conversation that they have together.
It's realistic.
It is very realistic. And then we get an intro to our monsters now. Karai and her people are trying to capture it, and this one it's a gigantic fucking
Like a monkey.
Yeah, like a Yeti monkey type thing. And they leave because the turtles show up.
Yeah, so then the Foot Clan's smart. They're like, turtles are here. They haven't been around in a while. Let's just fucking dip. Fuck these guys. They can deal with this monster. And we get our first kind of like fight scene.
Yeah, and the turtles kind of get their asses kicked up until the Brotherhood shows up. The Brotherhood shows up, and they whoop this Yeti thing's ass, no problem.
Yeah.
One hit, down.
Which the Brotherhood is the fucking statue people.
Yes. They explain right here that they need all 13 monsters to be captured. They need them back before the 3,000 year
planet
lineup. Yeah. So they do this interesting monster roundup montage. So what's really cool about these monsters is that, so I'd said the Yeti. So some of these monsters, they kind of tie into real life, like things that we have seen. So the Yeti is a myth of the world. Like the Yetis really exist. And that Yeti was there. There's a gargoyle one. And there's people in the world that are like, oh, gargoyles are real. There's also a Cyclops. So there's like, oh man, these are things that we
like a praying mantis spider looking thing. And then there's just straight up alien looking things too.
Yeah.
But again, this is where, like, if the movie had more of them going after each individual monsters, it's a better movie. I think the third half of the third part of this movie is where the movie kind of falls off, ironically, even though there's a lot of, like, action and shit.
Okay.
It's more just them trying to capture these monsters. I think that's how you make this a better movie, because those are some of the best parts when they're running against the monster, when the Night Watcher's fighting that thing in the kitchen and Black Betty's fucking going off, the song's going off, he's fighting the mini monster. Like, that kind of shit is hilarious. And another funny thing is Raph's Night Watcher shit is getting cut in throughout this shit, and none of the turtles even question or know it's Raph. Casey knew right away, but everyone else, Leo thinks the Night Watcher's some vigilante that needs to be put down. Mikey and Donnie think the Night Watcher's kind of cool. And Raph's always like, well, you know, he's fucking doing our job that we're not doing because you weren't around, dickhead. So that's fucking hilarious in this element that Raph is still trying to keep this Night Watch thing like under wraps while still doing it.
It's that element of Batman as well. Like, oh man, how does nobody know that Bruce Wayne is Batman? It's just silly to an extent, and how they can't just look over and be like, you go out every night and you come home and sleep during the day? Oh, it's definitely you. Whatever. It's silly, but it is what it is. Raph and Casey, they do some vigilante stuff, and they see one of the monsters that the Brotherhood's trying to capture. And this is where Casey sees the Brotherhood statues, and he goes, hold on, those are familiar. And this is where...
That's what I was moving in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, the dots are starting to connect to each other. The Brotherhood does go after them, and Raph gets knocked out by a dart, and the boys all go to April's apartment because that's where Raph's at, and April kind of recognizes one of the weapons that they use against Raph, and she goes, oh yeah, you know, this is definitely, it's Aztecian or something like that, she says. So she puts it together that, okay, Winter is the dude who's behind all this. He's the dude who wraps into this 3,000 year myth that's going on.
You haven't put together Winters is the bad guy, Winters is the bad guy moment. We also get the beautiful Raph and Leo classic exchange. Raph wakes up from being fucking unconscious, looks right at Leo, because Leo's like, is he all right? And like Donnie's checking his pulse and shit. And he looks right at Leo and he's like, oh, you're still here? You haven't gone back to the jungle yet? And Leo right away is like, well, he hasn't lost his attitude. And it's like, there's the brother. There they go again.
And then with April realizing that Winters is the bad dude, they also realize, okay, this 3,000 year thing happened this time tomorrow. So we have 24 hours before this portal opens up. So now this is where we get our time clock of this is how much time is left. This is where all the shit's going to start going down. So Raph gets to one of the last monsters that you were talking about, where he fights in the kitchen, and it's a funny scene because this thing's just jumping around, sort of a little tiny alien type thing.
And Raph's the Night Watcher. He's like alone. Yeah. He's on his Night Watcher shit. It's Black Betty, the song. If you don't know it, it just works perfect in the fucking scene. It's a great, like, fun monster scene.
Yeah. It does end with Raph not catching this monster, but he does go to the top of this building and he's just waiting there, and Leo confronts him. Leo's like, hey, Night Watcher, you got to stop this, which, like you said, the fact that he doesn't know it's him.
It's hilarious. But it's awesome, too, because as soon as Raph sees Leo, he's like, oh, fuck. the monster thing gets away, but since the Night Watcher's like this scary metal turtle thing, the cashier thinks he's getting robbed. So he's like Raph's trying to hand the money tray to the guy, and the guy's like, no, take it. And Raph's like, what the fuck, man? I'm trying to help people. And Leo sees him with the money tray in his hand, and Raph looks up and sees Leo, and he's like, oh, fuck, like, this is going to be a nightmare. Like, now Leo's thinking I'm stealing from this diner kind of thing. So it's that typical scene of Leo just, hey, you have to stop doing crime, and Raph not wanting to be Raph is like, this is my shot to fucking take my brother's head off. If Leo knows he's fighting Raph, you know how Leo is. He's always never going to go full tilt. Even if he has to, he'll pull back whenever he has to. He doesn't know he's fighting Raph. This is Raph's chance to actually fucking square up against his brother, who he loves, but he also always wants to fight.
Up until Leo sees that Raph is the Night Watcher, he kind of hands his ass to him very easily. And it's not until he gives him a good punch in the face and he knocks Raph down and the helmet falls off, and then he goes, oh shit, it's Raph. And this is where Raph loses it.
Yeah. And it's just a lot of like love, anger, brother. Like, it's just like the fight. Like, they're going to throw down and figure it out on this roof.
And Raph wins this fight. It's kind of crazy. I didn't see that coming. I thought this was going to be just because Raph has so much aggression and so much anger, and he is arguably the strongest of all the turtles, he's not going to be able to win this fight. But no, he wins it, and it's crazy to think about. All this training that Leo had, and he still can't whoop his own brother's ass. Thing.
It's always when it comes to like throwing down, that's why they rely on Raph so much. He's the powerhouse. He is the muscle. And the little brother got the big brother. And it's like that moment where he's like, fuck you, Leo. Like,
yeah.
You bullshit retreat. He keeps calling it a vacation the whole movie.
Yeah, he does whoop Leo's ass, and then he runs away. He leaves the area, and Leo is shot by a dart. And it's the Brotherhood. The Brotherhood catch him, and they're like, oh, yeah, we got the last monster. Between the Brotherhood's talking to themselves, and they're like, we got the last monster. And they go, no. One of them says, no, we don't. And he goes, yeah, well, our brother Winters is up to something. And, by the time he realizes that this isn't the 13th monster, it'll be too late anyway. So we will have succeeded in foiling his plan.
Yeah, because this is where you find out these guys are fucking pissed at Winters.
Yes.
Like, they're fucking mad. They're not down with Homeboy taking the power.
Yeah, they don't really know what Winter's plan is. Winter hasn't said what his plan is to them yet. But they know that whatever it is, they don't like what he's doing.
That position. So, yeah, they're, like, hedging down on, like, all right, we're going to fucking take control of this whole situation because we don't trust anyone. We like being stone monsters.
Yes. They would essentially have another 3,000 years, an eternal life in a way.
Right.
So Raph goes back to the sewers, and he tells Splinter, he's like, man, I fucked up. He doesn't even know what he did yet, but he tells Splinter, like, I fucked up. And Splinter's like, look, you're strong, and I know that you could lead, but you just need to cool your jets, man. You need to get your shit together, get your anger in check, and you could lead. You don't have to, just because Leo is the way he is doesn't make him the leader. You could lead as well. Just cool your jets, dude. And then he tells Splinter, like, hey, they have Leo. We got to go out there. We got to kick their ass. And this is where Splinter's like, all right, yeah, we're coming out of hiding.
Yeah.
We get this montage of, like, Casey getting ready and April getting ready.
She gives him the, like, metal chrome hockey mask. So cool. She's in, like, this ninja outfit.
Yeah, it's nice that we get to see that April isn't just a reporter. She has some type of ninja background, so she could fight. She could hold her own, which is really nice. The portal does open, and the turtles and everybody, they storm this building or castle. I don't even know what the hell it is. It's got castle walls, but it's a business building. But they storm it all, and the Foot Clan is there. They're defending the building because they still work for Winters. And this is where Winters kind of tells the Brotherhood, like, hey, my plan is to bring these monsters back or put them back into their realm of where they belong, so that way I can be wiped clean. You know, I've lived through 3,000 years, and I don't want to live anymore. You know, this has been long enough.
He's hoping, well, and he's hoping like he'll reverse what he did to like his friends by putting the shit back in.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's trying to save them. Like that's his whole thing. He in his eyes, Winters is trying to save them because he's like, why are you guys fucking, you know, turning on me? You have no idea of like why I'm trying to save all of you, kind of thing. So they're all trying to do the right thing and look out for themselves in a way, but he's like too much of a villain, far gone, too late to become the good guy now. It's just all bad because the statue people just like want to rule the world still. They're like, fuck it all. Everyone wants the power.
Yes. And we do get the turtles. They do get in there. Like I said, they fight the Foot Clan. They break Leo out. And this is where they realize, they get the whole spiel from Winters as well. And they're like, well, hey, you know, the turtles are going to stay here. They're going to fight the Brotherhood statues. We need April and the Foot Clan to team up, go out there, get that 13th monster to return them back to their realm. So you guys, they split up. They're all doing their own thing. They're fighting.
And we keep just saying they're fighting and all that. I want it to be clear with the audience. All of the fight scenes animation of this movie is top notch.
They are.
So it's hard to like go back and explain and all that. Like, but that's what I want to say. We just keep saying they're fighting this and fighting that, but like all of it is really good animation, like Ninja Turtle fighting monster, Ninja Turtle fighting each other, Ninja Turtle fighting Foot Clan. It's all dope ass fighting action.
Yes, it is. Somebody else who fights that we don't really get to see much of fighting for this person is Splinter. Splinter's out there whooping ass as well.
Yes, dude.
It's that element of like a Mr. Miyagi type thing, like we brought up earlier. You know, just because he's old as shit and he doesn't look like he could hold his own, he whoops ass.
He does.
Everyone's successful in getting. They get the last monster there. The turtles are fighting them into this. They're trying to push them into this beam of light that's coming through this building, going to the other realm.
Portal.
And the portal, yeah. And then the turtles knock them in there, and they just walk back out. And you're like, shit, you know, we thought we had them. And this is when April and Casey bring this last monster right into the Brotherhood, knocks them into this portal, and they all go away.
Yeah, a nice big cartoon ending.
Yes.
All the monsters just smash together, go into the portal, and it's boom. The dust has settled.
And Winters is stoked. This is a nice scene because Winters is redeemed in a way. He thanks the turtles. He thanks them for their help and for essentially helping him die in a way because he's had it. He just die in peace and just be done with eternal life. And we get to see Karai and the Foot Clan, and they basically tell the turtles, like, hey, enjoy your victory right now because...
Yeah, they're up to Foot Clan fuckery, man, as always. The Foot Clan are a bunch of scumbags, and they're always going to be a bunch of scumbags because they're just like, yeah, that was cool, but we did that only because we want the power. Goodbye. Yeah. It's like, you fuckers.
But right before they leave, she does say that, hey, you know, when we come back, we're coming back with a familiar face from the past. Giving us a little hint of like, oh shit, Shredder's still alive?
As always, Shredder's always back. Yep. Somehow, he's always back.
Of course he is. I forgot to mention that when Winters does thank them, Winters does get dusted. It's almost like an endgame snap thing. He just turns into dust and pixie dust and just dies. And then we get to see the turtles and Splinter, and they're in the sewers. And this is a really cool scene because Splinter puts Winter's helmet on this shrine. He's got a shrine of all these things from the past. Raph comes up there. He puts his Night Watcher helmet up there. Mikey comes in for one more laugh and puts his Cowabunga Carl mascot head onto it. But there's other things on this shrine that are very interesting. One of them is Shredder's helmet's up there. Another one is the scepter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 is up there.
Yeah.
As well as the TGRI canister from Turtles 2.
Yeah.
So this movie is a sequel. It was hard for me to find, but I guess it's written somewhere that this is a sequel to those movies. And I thought that was super weird because there was also a scene written in this movie at the beginning of it where Raph was supposed to be almost dead. Because at the end of the Turtles in Time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, he does get hurt before they come back to the normal time. Like, this is a spoiler for those people who've never seen that movie. But, yeah, there was a scene written where Raph is almost supposed to be dead in this TMNT 2007 movie. And I was like, whoa, super interesting. But this is a sequel. And the Turtles do parkour through the city, and they're coming up. There's a nice little... I can't remember who's doing this this narration at this point, but one of the brothers is doing it. Fishburne. It's not Lauren Fishburne at the end. It's one of the Turtles, and they're talking about how they're back. They're gonna return the city back to the way it was, and it fucking ends. It is beautiful because, especially in this parkour scene at the very end of the movie,
it's very like every Spider-Man movie where they have him swinging through the city while he says some fucking monologue. That's exactly what this is.
That's so true. But it's cool. The animation in this is so fucking good throughout this entire film. It's weird to say, pay attention to the lighting in an animation film, but the lighting is done so well. A lot of the stuff in the jungle in Central America looks beautiful.
All top tier. It's all fucking top tier in the animation, the fucking acting, the voice acting, the characterization, the writing, the story. It's all top tier. I think it's a great Turtles fucking movie. That's why I'm excited for Mutant Mayhem, because this animated turtle style has worked in movie forms before. It can work again. So I'm ready for more shit like this.
We're ready to see some more Turtles on the big screen, man. That's one of the bigger things as well.
Been a hot minute.
So I think that it's safe to say that we all agree that this movie is still good.
Yeah.
It holds up. People need to see this movie because it's a gem. It's a hidden gem that most people just look over because it's an animation. It's like, nah. It's still good.
And it's timeless in a sense. There's no timestamp on it at all. No. It feels like it's just a turtle story. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like, this feels super 2000s or whatever. Not at all.
One of my favorite things about this movie as well is the soundtrack. So I always love the soundtrack for this. Billy Talent was there. Cute is what we aim for. Cobra Starship, Gym Class Heroes, all shit that I loved in 2007.
Oh yeah.
So in our Turtles episode where we talked about Turtles 1 last April, we had talked about our favorite character from the movie from Turtles 1. Who is your guys' favorite character from this movie?
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to not say Raph, dude. He plays literally Batman in this movie. And I think I say Casey too because it's Chris Evans because he's just so good. But like Splinter's also really good. Splinter's got a lot of good monologues and shit.
He does. I think that I was really into Leo for this movie, and it's hard because it seems like that's an easy pick. But I enjoyed Leo. I like the depth to his character that we'd never really gotten to this extent before. We knew that he was the leader, so he has a little bit more responsibility. But this movie, we actually see why. We get to see the hurt in him when he's got to fight his brother. The hurt in him when he fucking loses to his brother. Like, there's some good shit to this to Leo that I really enjoyed this time around.
I like Casey. I like the attitude that he had and that, he wanted to be this grown up for April, but at the same time, he's like, yeah, I'm going to just sneak out this window and shimmy on up to the roof and have a good night.
Those are some of my favorite things. I say we talk about favorite scenes, but we talked about pretty much the entire movie because it's hard. The movie's great. The movie's great.
Yeah, it's good. And it's an hour and a half. It moves quick. It's just a nice little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie.
That's right. For people, we had just talked about TMNT Mutant Mayhem. That comes out August 4th. Will be the next time that you could see some Turtles on the big screen. We're all excited for that. I believe we'll be covering that as long as reviews don't come out and they start absolutely shit talking it. I think it's safe to say this might be one that we'll be covering.
I don't trust reviews anymore. I'm done with them. I'm done with them at all. I'm done with ratings and I'm done with reviews. I'm going solely back on the gut.
Oh.
I can't trust any of them anymore.
They're getting harsh. So we're going to move on to our read, play, watch. My read is a comic that Lori from the comic book store was like, here, take this first issue. You guys like Disney, so you guys are going to like this. Just give it a try. If you like it, come back and buy the volume. It's got the first 4 issues in it. And this is called Dark Ride. And this is essentially if Walt Disney World was made by a dude who was really disturbed in life and just liked horror films. And what's really cool about it is that you get to see there's a classic statue in Disney World and it's Walt Disney and he's holding Mickey Mouse or he's standing next to Mickey Mouse. And in this one you get to see this dude. His name is Arthur Dante is the founder of this world. And he's got this creature on his shoulders that's just completely scary. So it is really a ripoff of just Disney World. We get to see this dude goes to work for the first day and he's in the back rooms and they're talking about how there's people that are the eyes in the sky of this amusement park and they've noticed people like getting hand jobs on rides. And you get to see that people who try to sneak in at night will die on the rides sneaking in just to try to get some backstage footage. They'll die, but people don't know if it's a prop for the ride, if it's a decoration, or if it's real. So this came out in October 2022. It was so good. It was a fast read for me because I couldn't put the book down. This is written by Joshua Williamson. He wrote the new Robin series that I fucking love. He wrote Batman for a while, and he also wrote The Flash for a while. But yeah, this is such a good story. I can't urge people that if you like Disney, you need to check this book out. It's called Dark Ride. You will highly enjoy it. If you know me, come to my house. I'll let you borrow it because Sam's not going to read it.
Psh, it's in the pile.
That was my read.
I'm jumping to watch because I've been filming, so I've been kind of out of playing games and out of reading because we've been working every day. But
Yeah.
we have watched a couple things. I've watched, for the first time, all 3 John Wicks.
How'd you like it?
Loved him. Big John Wick guy. Dude's brutal.
Did you guys go see the 4th one, or did you just watch the 3?
So this is my next thing. The reason we didn't go see the 4th one is because I hadn't seen all 3 of them. So we didn't want to start with 4, and we optioned to go to Dungeons and Dragons. Horrible mistake. I thought it was terrible. I'm not even within the first 15, 20 minutes, it was like, uh-oh. You know when you're in that movie and it's like, uh-oh.
Oh, man.
And it wasn't even like I was oblivious because I can see the angle of like, well, you don't play Dungeons and Dragons, so you don't understand a lot of like, because you could tell it was heavy fan service. But I have played Dungeons and Dragons, and I did get a lot of the references, but it was just a fucking shit movie. The effects were good. I will not take away from that. Looked great. But yeah, it was like, I hate to say it, but it was definitely, I think, the worst movie I've seen this year.
You're a Chris Pine fan as well. So how was he disappointment? Was he a disappointment or?
Yeah, it's not even him. It's just like, and again, it's not like he didn't have lines. It wasn't that kind of waste like where you had Christian Bale in Thor and that's like a waste of like, they didn't use him enough. Chris Pine's in every scene and he has a lot of fucking lines, but it was just a bad movie, man. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but this is why I do not trust critics because everyone's claiming this is the best movie of all time. And we went with 4 people and all 4 of us were like, what the fuck was that? This is 4 people who have very different tastes in what we actually really, really enjoy. And so that was one of those things of like, we all walked out literally just shaking our heads like, what the fuck did we just watch for 2.5 hours? I was very upset because I was very, very excited for Dungeons and Dragons. And none of us had expectations going in. We all were excited to see it, but we were like, we don't know what the fucking story is going to be. We don't know this or that. And it was bad, man.
That's unfortunate. Let's jump back to this John Wick then.
Yeah.
So I enjoy the John Wick series as far as the action goes. I can't take.
You're a Keanu hater. It's fine. It's fine. You can.
But I love like Point Break. I love Speed. I could take him in the. I like them. I like the Matrix.
He's a fucking stone cold, shoot you 45 times in the face killer, my guy. And that's all he needs to be in a world of everyone is afraid of the Baba Yaga, the boogeyman. This is who this man is. I love it.
Yeah, the fucking action is amazing. It's incredible. Like when he, like in that club when he gets thrown off the fucking balcony, he just lands, and the way he lands, you're like, damn, that looked like it fucking hurt.
It's the shit they do is actually fucking crazy. It is so cool. every movie, it keeps getting better. I'm going to see 4 at some point.
We'll see 4 for sure. I mean, we've watched the rest of the series. We've got to finish it.
Huge fan. That is my watch. We're definitely going to go with that over Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, I appreciate hearing both of them. My watch is one that I'm not ashamed of. We watched Teen Beach Movie, man. This movie came out in 2013. It's a Disney Channel original movie. We watched it with the girls. We threw this on. So for people listening, like, if you like Grease, if you like Pleasantville, you like Back to the Future, you will like this fucking movie. So this movie is essentially, in case you haven't seen it, Tyler,
No.
this movie is essentially about...
Never heard of this.
It's about a boy and a girl. They're in their teens. They're in love. They're out surfing, and this magical wave takes them out. And when they wake up, they're in this boy's favorite movie. It's called Wet Side Story. So when they're in this movie, it's essentially like Pleasantville. They're going into his favorite thing of all time. So the two main characters of this Wet Side Story fall in love with the two characters that came in from this world that they're not supposed to be in. So they threw off the entire movie, essentially making this Back to the Future, where Marty gets hit by the car instead of his dad, and now his mom Lorraine falls in love with him. So they got to set shit right in order for everything to be correct in the timeline. And that's what they do in this movie, Teen Beach Movie. But then you just throw in some musical numbers and some funny scenes, and dude, fucking loved it. Loved the shit out of it. I couldn't believe how good it was. I've listened to the soundtrack over and over with the girls, and
we watched the sequel right away too. Shit was amazing.
I couldn't wait. And I don't think it's just because I'm a dad or I'm gonna watch these kids' movies. It really was a good movie. So if anyone hasn't seen Teen Beach Movie from 2013, it's on Disney Plus. Check the shit out. I couldn't recommend it more. Now Tyler is going to let you guys know what we got going on for our next episode.
Next episode will be April 25th, and it will be movies that you may not know were comic books. We're just going to kind of talk about different things. It's not going to be necessarily like, oh, the Batman movie. We know Batman's a comic book. It's going to be things you may not have realized were actually comic books that are movies as well. So it'll kind of be just us talking about random things. We'll launch into different things of favorite scenes and what we like and don't like about each movie, I'm sure, with all of our opinions. But it'll be a little bit more free-flowing, and it'll be a good one. It'll be something different.
Yeah, there's quite a few movies, like just doing my research fairly recently, and there's a few of them that I didn't even know were comic books, but I've seen all the movies that are on the list that I have, but I haven't read all the books. So I'm trying to do a little bit more research before that episode comes out and see if I can compare the comics to the movies a little bit more and see what they hit right in the movies. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm stoked for that episode. And like Tyler said, that'll be April 25th. Until that episode, Sam's going to let you guys know where everyone can hang out with us next.
Yes, come hang out with us on our Facebook page where no nerds were harmed, as well as our Twitter at NNWHpod. On both of those, you can catch some nerd news updates, polls, our fan cast picks, and more. Anything we talk about in Read, Play, Watch. Come let us know what you're thinking, or if you watched anything or read anything that we did. If you want to follow our personal Twitters, you can find Maddie at the Matman22. Myself at Samwise1227, and Tyler is Gambit the Goon for our gamers. Tyler's Twitch is the same handle, Gambit the Goon. If you're a YouTube fan, head that way too. Even if we don't have video for every episode, there is audio for all of them up there to give us a listen. But no matter what, if you're already listening to us on something, thank you. Tell your friends that they can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, wherever. We appreciate all forms of listening.
That's right, and that's all we got for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed the episode because we enjoyed making it for you. So until next time, stay nerdy. I'm Maddie.
I'm Tyler. We'll catch you in the next one.